Alrighty, so I've just got back from the Quakes game, and I won't talk about what exactly happened in that game until tomorrow, but you probably know what happened in that game. And speaking of which, I still have to watch 7 more games in terms of the 13 game action that happened tonight, and that those 7 games I'm going to be watching are going to be the condensed highlights because, like I said before, there was no way in the world I was going to be watching all 13 game at the same time, especially with me attending the Quakes game. And one of the games that I definitely watched very heavily before the Quakes game start is none other than the Campeones Cup, which I mentioned in my preview a little bit, the fact that this is that definitely a competition where, well, actually, it's not really a competition. It's just kind of a one-off game where I know some Liga MX fans are going to say this is just kind of an afterthought tournament, but still, there's a trophy that is on the line, and Columbus definitely play like that is the case because in this game, despite the fact that they were pretty much not starting the strongest his team in this game against a Cruz Azul side that definitely looked like they were starting their main star in this one to get the win. And they did it in probably the most Columbus way as possible, which is the DOS0 win. I mean, you knew that if the Crew was going to win, and knowing the fact that Columbus is forever known as the home of DOS0, you know they're going to win by the same scoreline. And it seems like history repeats itself as we've seen another U.S. team able to beat their Mexican counterpart by the same scoreline that happened all the way back in the early 2000s. I think it was 2001. That was the famous scoreline, and that's where the tale of DOS0 all started. But coming into this game, first of all, there was no Jersey Zardes in this game. I'm not quite sure why exactly he did not play in this one because he did start in the last game. It definitely didn't look like he suffered some injury in this one. But the other thing I kind of also want to mention is that it was kind of about 70 to 30 in terms of Columbus and Cruz Azul fan in favor of the team wearing blue. I mean, it was pretty obvious that there was going to be a lot of Cruz Azul fan in this one, but I will say that I got to give credit to Crew fan. At least they definitely show up. Obviously, you got the Nordeck, definitely are the section where the hardcore Cruise fans are. But even around the stadium, I thought that there wasn't as much blue as I thought it was going to happen. Although there are some patch of the stadium that I thought there was definitely a lot of blue, and I know for sure that they are Cruz Azul fan. But like I said, I thought Crew fan definitely showed up, and they were definitely really loud in this game, and they definitely have something to celebrate just 3 minutes into the game because they took the lead. And it's Angulo, the one that actually scores the own goal for Cruz Azul, although you got to give a lot of credit to Lucas Zarian. And, there's just something about Lucas Zarian playing against a Liga MX opponent where it seems like he always played with a chip on his shoulder when he played against a Liga MX team because he had another great performance in this one. And this one was him just putting a dangerous ball in the free kick. I mean, when you put a dangerous ball in the free kick, not only you give it your team a chance to basically head that one in, but you also could create problems for a defender that they just got to make sure they clear that one away, and Angulo didn't quite do so, and Columbus were up 1-0 at that point. Though after that, this is when Cruz Azul really kind of started to dominate possession, and the Crew was kind of trying to sit deep and counter, and in some way after that goal, it looked like Columbus' game plan was, yeah, let's just trying to bunker for the rest of the game and try to hold on to this 1-0 lead. And that's kind of when I started to be a little bit concerning, because knowing the fact that the Crew this season, especially their defense that have been very leaky at time, I thought that they're gonna make a mistake in this game. And we've seen it before in league play. They make a mistake at the back and it would basically cost them. But at least from what I saw in this game, this back line was really back in 2020 form. I mean, this was probably the best defensive display I've seen the Crew play, and it's if you're a Crew fan, you got to be happy with the way that the best defensive displays of the season came in probably the most important game of the season for your team in this one. But in the 10th minute, Escobar did hit a shot that went straight to Evan Bush before Bush was able to deny Rivero from close range. There was a shout for a penalty from Cruz Azul that was not given. I mean, I thought maybe it was going to be given, knowing the fact that anytime when the MX team is going to try their best to draw a penalty and try to do the master of dark arts to draw a penalty. Sometimes these referees do kind of buy into it. And also, even though the Campeones Cup, I think it's not officially a CONCACAF kind of tournament, you still do have CONCACAF kind of referee that was refereeing this game. So in some way, I guess I still get to say that maybe a team just got CONCACAF in some way, even though, like I said, the Campeones Cup, I don't think it's actually associated with CONCACAF. But in the 33rd minute, Zarian did puts it high on the free kick. And then Bush actually had a mistake in the 36th minute where he actually spilled a ball that was coming into the box, and the ball was just kind of loose in the 18-yard box. And when that happened, I thought that Columbus was going to be in trouble and that Cruz Azul was going to capitalize. But they didn't, and Columbus got lucky there, and in many ways, I think that was the only bad moment that Evan Bush had in this game, because I thought he had a decent one and made a couple of big saves to keep Cruz Azul off the board. But we had to halftime with Columbus leading 1-0. Now in the second half, it looked like it was going to be a penalty that was given to Cruz Azul after there was a shout that Nagbe basically handballed that one. They even go to VAR to see whether or not if that's the case. Now, when I look on the replay, it seems like Nagbe when he jumped up in the air, it seems like maybe the ball did kind of hit him in the arm, although there was a certain angle that it looks like it kind of hit him in the leg as he kind of just jumped up to try to clear that ball, or maybe just kind of block that ball away. And knowing the fact that this of course is between the MLS Liga MX team, I was for certain that MLS team are going to get screwed over by this, and that they're going to give a penalty to Cruz Azul. And next thing you know, if Cruz Azul gets a penalty, they score the penalty, you know how this is going to end for MLS team. But thankfully, this was one of the time where the referee decided that he's not going to give a penalty, and there was not enough evidence in terms of that being a handball or not. I mean, at the end of the day, I think it was the right decision. I mean, I really didn't see enough evidence that Nagbe did handball that one, and obviously with the way that I think the original call was no penalty, you have to have kind of a clear and obvious and a definitive kind of evidence to overturn that call. But like I said, with the way that this is ref by a couple of CONCACAF referees, and seeing them how to use VAR is kind of like seeing how they basically refereeing on a usual basis. I mean, they have no idea how to use this correctly, but at least at that time they did do it correctly, and that's got to be thankful to the 13,000 fans or 13,000 crew fans that is in the stadium. Notice the fact that I didn't say 25,000 because, again, there was a lot of Cruz Azul fans in this game. But, after that, Cruz Azul, you can definitely see that they were definitely pushing for an equalizer, and Columbus continued to just try to bunker and trying to see this one out. The post denied Escobar and Cruz Azul the equalizer in the 51st minute before Angulo had a shot that hit straight to Evan Bush. And, at that point, I mean, I don't know why I wrote this, but it was pretty obvious that the crew was just going to put 10 men behind the box and trying to bunker and trying to hold on to a 1-0 lead. But then in the 74th minute, they did something that I did not expect. And that, of course, is score a second goal. And it's Jonathan Mensah, the one that scores from Valenzuela to make it 2-0 in favor of Columbus. I mean, Mensah hasn't scored a lot of goals this season for this crew team, but when he scored, it's a big goal for the crew, and this seems like it was the case. But I would say that this was probably one that the Cruz Azul goalkeeper Corona, he clearly should have done better in terms of it. Like, this one was literally hit straight to him, and the fact that he didn't keep that one out. I mean, we talk about how MLS goalkeeping standards, and I know some people say MLS goalkeeping standard is definitely not up there compared to the rest of the world, and that, after seeing that, maybe I should question Liga MX goalkeeping standard too, because again, that's one that I've seen MLS goalkeeper make mistake in terms of that and not able to save it, and it seems like this time it actually happened to a Liga MX goalkeeper, and I think this is really the first time I can remember in an MLS versus Liga MX kind of matchup where a Liga MX goalkeeper make a mistake on the end. But that being said, the crew won't care. They were up 2-0 at that point, and after that goal, you just kind of sense that. I mean, I still kind of was worried about the Crew, eventually is going to commit that mistake that gives Cruz Azul the goal, but you kind of sense that it seems like Cruz Azul is not going to come back from this, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the Liga MX fan base realized that, yeah, Cruz Azul is not going to do it, because, in Liga MX, a lot of people have said Cruz Azul is known as the biggest choker in the league, and a team that always find ways to crumble under pressure. And it seems like this was just another typical game where they looked like they were the favorites coming into this one, and yet they somehow find a way to crumble in the end. Alvaro in the 79th minute did hit one straight to Evan Bush, and as the time winds down, Columbus was pretty much in park the bus mode, and really I think as we head into stoppage time, this is when I think Crew fan maybe would be feeling a little bit kind of unclutched in terms of their butts. I mean, I think Crew fan was pretty much clutching their butts throughout this entire game, even when that second goal went in, because they know for sure that they were waiting for this back line to make a mistake. And again, they didn't really made any mistake in this game, and really was looking like the solid defensive team that we saw from the MLS Cup winning team from last season. Then in the first minute of stoppage time, Bush did deny Fernandez, but on the follow-up, Jimenez actually struck the post, and Cruz Azul, of course, struck the post for the second time. So, in some way, Columbus kind of got lucky, or, well, not just lucky, but also kind of got help from the post. But in the end, they won 2-0 in this game against Cruz Azul. And in terms of shots in this game, only 5 shots that Columbus has had compared to 16 that Cruz Azul has. 2 shots on goal compared to 5 that Cruz Azul has. No shots off target for the 6 that Cruz Azul has. 3 shots out of block compared to 5 that Cruz Azul has. And possession-wise, 75% possession compared to 25% possession that Columbus has in this game. And as much as I know the MX fans are going to just look at the stats and say, yeah, this just proved that Columbus got lucky in this game. Well, no, because how stats usually don't judge the game. This is why I always say to people, you do not want to look at the stats and usually just determine that that's how the outcome is, because I think the beauty of soccer is the fact that the stats most of the time doesn't really tells the story, and that if you watch the whole game, even though Cruz Azul was out, or not Cruz Azul, but Columbus was outshot badly in this game, I thought this was just a game that they were solid in their defensive shape, and just kind of make a living hell for Cruz Azul to try to break them down. And even when you don't put up a lot of shots in this game, if you can maybe score on your limited amount of chances, this is something that I've always said about MLS team facing against Liga MX's opponent, you're not going to get a lot of chances. You have to bury the chance that you're given, and Columbus did exactly that, and unsurprisingly, they were able to get the victory. And yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be celebrating this one for a bit. Although I will say that with the way that Campeones Cup is happening, kind of still in the mix of the stretch run in the season, it's gonna be tough for these Cruz players to kind of celebrate and realize that yes, we just won probably the biggest game of the season, and we won another third trophy for the second time in less than a year. But they know that yeah, the season and the goal of this season is not just win Campeones Cup. They still are in the playoff race, and that they got to pick themselves up very quickly, because in 3 days they got another crucial game that is going to be coming up for them to fight for those last couple of spots for the playoffs right now. Because right now, when you look at the Crew and where they're in the standings, they're in the mix of that fight. But at the same time, with teams around them that seems to also been red hot lately, they know that the margin for error is going to be very little. So yeah, we'll see whether or not if Columbus can, they'll be happy with this win, but they're definitely looking to hope that this will be a win to carry them and give them some momentum in terms of potentially making the playoffs out of the Eastern Conference. But yeah, there you have it. That is pretty much it in terms of this review of the Campeones Cup. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this video? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.